Well, as international tariffs impact the country, Seattle is beginning to feel the ripple effects as well. City officials say that there is, quote, remarkable amount of economic uncertainty. With large trade, immigration, and tax policies, they expect increased costs for households and businesses. The threat of tariffs has people getting a head start on purchases, with fears that inflation will soon rise.
So we anticipate King County's inflation to be growing in the future here. But right now it's still pretty low. And so that's kind of one of the things we kind of have to help everyone understand, are the delays sometimes in seeing these effects of tariffs on our economic variables and stuff.
King County officials say that the likelihood of a recession in the next 12 months is still uncomfortably high, still at 40 to 50%.
Starbucks is having its first Global Barista Championship, and one of the competitors is from Seattle. Over 3 days, 12 baristas from around the world will showcase their love for coffee and mixing skills. A barista from the iconic Starbucks Reserve is one of the 6 roastery representatives. The other 6 will be coffeehouse baristas. More than 14,000 employees will be there. The event starts on June 9th.
Well, make sure to check your fridge. A public health alert says ground beef recently sold at Whole Foods may be contaminated with E. coli. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says the products are 1-pound vacuum-sealed packages of organic rancher 85% lean ground beef. They have used or freeze-by dates of June 19th or June 20th. The meat should be thrown away or returned to the store. There are no confirmed reports of anyone getting sick. Venmo users can cash in on some new perks. There is a 15% cash back on purchases using the app's debit card. Walmart, Sephora, Lyft, McDonald's, and Walgreens customers will get cash back if you are a Venmo card user. The card is available for purchases anywhere. MasterCard is accepted around the world with no international transaction fees. So far, no data has been released on the number of debit card users. It's a time of year to celebrate Dad. Father's Day is around the corner. The National Retail Federation says Father's Day spending is expected to reach $24 billion this year. That brings down to about $200 per person. That's about $10 more than last year and a record. Remember, Father's Day is on June 15th.
Michaels is expanding its fabrics business following the closure of Joann's. 600 products across several categories are being added, including sewing and quilting supplies, fabric and yarn, and sewing machines. Shoppers will see products from Joann's fan favorite Big Twist yarn and private label line. Michaels also bought Joann's copyright and name, but no specific plans were announced for that.
Well, with temperatures expected to rise into the upper 80s, maybe even higher this weekend, there's an air conditioner recall that you need to know about. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is recalling nearly 2 million window units due to a draining issue causing mold. They were made by Midea, M-I-D-E-A, made by Midea under its own brand name, as well as Frigidaire and Insignia. The AC units were sold at stores including Costco, Home Depot, and Best Buy. Midea is offering free repairs or refunds for these recalled units.
Costco customers may soon be able to avoid those long lines at checkout. There is a new feature being tested that will allow you to scan your items and pay for them on your phone. Costco has not released many details about how exactly it will work, but says it will be through their app. There is no word yet on when that might start. Well, now to a different type of game. Microsoft has entered the portable gaming world with Windows and Xbox combined into one. It comes in 2 sizes, the Xbox Ally and Ally X. Both will allow players to have their Xbox games and stream content all while playing on the go. This is a first for Xbox. It has never released a handheld gaming system before. Microsoft says this expansion is part of a bigger version.
Nobuki Shimode is celebrating as the first ever Starbucks Global Barista Champion. The store manager from Japan beat 11 other baristas in Las Vegas yesterday in the intense 3-day competition, a group that came from an original field of 84,000 baristas. Wow. As Starbucks championship winner, he'll get to visit all 6 of its roastery reserves, and he gets the chance to co-create a beverage to be served in Starbucks stores in the future.
Well, Seattle police are investigating the death of a 31-year-old woman found dead in her apartment in the Bitter Lake neighborhood Sunday afternoon. Police arrived and say that they did see obvious signs of trauma. A medical examiner will determine the cause of death. So far, no arrests in this case. If you have information, you're asked to call 911 or the Seattle Fire Department's Violent Crimes Tip Line.
More than 200 Washington firefighters are being sent to Canada to help fight large wildfires. 11 different crews, leadership personnel, and equipment are among the resources heading to the wildfires in Alberta and Saskatchewan. The State Department of Natural Resources praises how strong its working relationship is with Canada. Let's get to our first alert weather. Cool ocean air this morning, making it a little chilly compared to what we saw this weekend, and these milder temperatures might stick around until the end of this week. Leah Pizzetti is here with our forecast. It is time for a vote to see where Orca card users want to see Boop the mascot on their cards. They are partnering with Washington Ferries on a contest to develop designs for the new card. You have until next Wednesday to vote for the design that you like best. Get ready for some free concerts. Downtown Summer Sounds is returning for its 46th year. Indie rock, soul, jazz, Cuban funk, Americana, there's something for everyone. The concert series starts July 11th and ends August 28th. Shows will play throughout downtown Seattle, with the first one kicking off at Westlake Park. Expect to see local, national, and international bands playing this summer.
Well, heads up for people who live in Grays Harbor, South Beach. On June 26, you will not have power for a couple of hours. Crews will be working on a large-scale project. Officials say that it will impact more than 5,000 people all across the peninsula. Customers are asked to prepare their electrical equipment for the outage ahead of time. Well, the popular USDA annual Northwest Forest Pass will now be available to buy online. It costs $30. Pass owners can access day-use recreational sites across Washington and Oregon. The pass must be printed, signed, and displayed on the vehicle's dashboard. The Mount Baker Snoqualmie National Forest now moving close to being cashless. Cashless payments. You're going to have to use your credit or debit cards at ranger stations, visitor centers, and trailheads. Cashless payments are set to start this Saturday.
Some exciting news for hikers and bikers. The Lake to Sound Trail is nearly finished, so now that we have nicer weather, you can enjoy it. It will connect Lake Washington and Renton to Puget Sound in Des Moines. Right now, it's 2/3 of the way done. The latest expansion connects Burien to SeaTac with 7 miles of paved urban trail. Once it's complete, the 16-mile trail will connect 5 cities and 4 other trails to link light rail stations. An urgent call is being issued for blood donations around the nation. All blood types are encouraged to donate, especially type O. There are over 14,000 appointments open across Washington and Oregon. Donors have a chance to win $3,000 or a 3-day getaway at a resort.
In less than a year, the biggest international soccer championship will be coming to Seattle, and with your help, officials want to make sure the city looks nice for the big stage. The 4th annual One Seattle Day of Service has opened registration for volunteers. There are more than 1,800 volunteer shifts at more than 55 events around the city. The Day of Service will be on July 12th.
Passport applicants can once again pick the gender that matches their identity, at least for now. Earlier this year, the State Department required passports to show the holder's biological sex. In April, a federal judge ruled against that. Now, on Tuesday, class action status was granted to all transgender and non-binary Americans. That means anyone can now use whichever gender they identify with. And X marker will come back for non-binary applicants.
Bridget. Well, one person is dead and another injured after people say they heard an explosion at an apartment complex in Hazeldale, just north of Vancouver, Washington. Just past midnight, firefighters responded to a fire at the Ridgecrest Apartments. By dawn, the fire was out, displacing at least 10 families. All that remained was debris after the second floor of the complex collapsed.
Finally, we were able to cut a hole through the wall of the adjoining apartment, which gave the fire marshal enough access to go in and discover that there was indeed a body.
The Red Cross is helping those displaced families. Officials have not released the identity of the person who died or how the fire started. Seattle police are investigating a stabbing in the Queen Anne neighborhood. The victim stabbed several times this morning. Officers responded to reports near 5th Avenue North and Mercer Street and found the victim with multiple wounds, and the knife was still in them. They say it all happened during some kind of verbal altercation, and police are still investigating this.
If you have weekend plans, get ready for some challenging and long travel times. I-5 will be reduced to 2 northbound lanes across the Ship Canal Bridge for repairs. Lane reductions could get worse if it rains. Traffic could be reduced to 1 lane. All express lanes will be northbound for the weekend. Now, if you want to avoid backups, you can use I-405 or Highway 99, but expect heavy traffic there as well. The closure starts tonight and should be done by Monday morning. And if you were hoping to avoid heavy traffic by taking the light rail, major repairs are also shutting down a key stretch in Seattle. No trains will run between Capitol Hill and SoDo. Free shuttle buses, rather, will make all stops in between, but Sound Transit is warning riders to expect significant delays and consider alternate routes. It is going to be busy in Seattle with a Club World Cup game, the Fremont Summer Solstice Parade, and the Fremont Fair this weekend, too, so plan ahead.
More accessible health care is coming to Snohomish County, and that's because the health department is launching its mobile Health on Wheels van later this month. There will be services like screenings, vaccinations, and health education. The van has plenty of resources to help for those from urban neighborhoods to remote rural areas. You can catch a first look at the van at the Snohomish Pride Parade on June 7th.
The department is kicking off its 4th annual 100 Safe Days of Summer this weekend. The campaign works to prevent impaired crashes. Bellevue has seen a 21% spike of driving incidents so far this year compared to the same time last year. The State Patrol's mobile impaired driving unit will be by Bellevue Square. Officers will take suspected individuals for breath test processing and lawful blood screenings.
Starting to feel uncomfortable, you've already experienced the start of a sunburn.
It's that time of year again when we are in the sun a lot more often, so dermatologists are reminding people of the ways to treat and prevent sunburns. They suggest reapplying sunscreen every 3 hours and wearing sun protection clothing to prevent burning your skin. If you get a sunburn, cold showers, cold compresses, and ice packs wrapped in a towel can help the pain. If you get a severe sunburn, you are advised to go see a doctor. If you have camping plans at Mount Rainier tomorrow, you may have to change your plans for cooking. The national park has a park-wide fire ban at all campgrounds because of our hot, dry weather, and that means you cannot have campfires or use barbecue grills, but you can use cooking stoves or other heating devices that use bottled fuel. If you see any smoke or flames, dial 911.
A new executive chef is stepping into the role at the iconic Canlis restaurant in Queen Anne, and he's been marinating in the city all his life. James Huffman, a Seattle native, was picked after a worldwide search. He has been with Canlis for the past 9 years.
Seattle rock band Heart is hoping for the safe return of 2 of their irreplaceable instruments. They were preparing for a nationwide tour when that equipment went missing in New Jersey. The band's custom-built guitar with hand-painted pieces was taken, as well as a vintage mandolin that they've had for more than 25 years. There is a reward for information leading to their return.
Well, with the warmer weather, you are more likely to spend time outdoors, but summer fun can quickly fizzle out if the heat leads to itchy, painful skin issues. Mandy Gaither shows us how to prevent 5 common summer skin problems.
The sun, the sweat, the itchy, oily, or dry skin. Summertime can wreak havoc on our bodies.
It's very common to end up getting different types of rashes, different type of skin conditions that are related to heat and humidity.
Dr. Susan Masick with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says the first common skin problem you can prevent is acne. She suggests washing your face with cleanser twice a day in the summer to decrease oil, sweat, and bacteria. Next, folliculitis can be a problem. It's an inflammation of hair follicles and can happen anywhere there's hair on the body. To avoid this problem, shower as soon as possible after sweating and then change into clothing that's breathable like cotton or material that's moisture wicking. Third, sweat from the heat can make skin dehydrated, dry, and irritated, leading to rashes or rough patches. Masick says to avoid this by re-moisturizing the skin after showering. The next summer problem, a condition called melasma, or hyperpigmentation of the skin, usually in sun-exposed areas. It happens mostly in women because pregnancy and birth control play into it. She says daily sunscreen is key to prevention.
If you know you're going to be outdoors for longer periods of time, try to shoot for an SPF of 50+.
Finally, heat rash, also called prickly heat, can happen when sweat glands get blocked, causing small bumps on the skin.
A way to avoid it is to avoid perspiration and decrease the sweat. So staying cool and making sure you shower afterwards.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, it's the time of year when children are outside a lot, and these rising temperatures can put them at risk. Mandy Gaither has tips to help parents keep kids safe from the heat-related illnesses.
As the temperatures rise, so does the risk of getting really sick from the hot sun.
It's hard for your body to actually sweat out that heat and to get rid of it. So you're at much higher risk of heat-related problems.
Dr. Ashley Brulette with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says this time of year it's especially important to keep kids hydrated before, during, and after activities. She says if they're outside for under an hour, make sure they're drinking plenty of water. But if they're spending more than 60 minutes outdoors, she suggests supplementing with a sports drink.
And then also being mindful of what time of day we're doing activities. So doing things earlier in the morning, later at night, having shady breaks, things like that are going to be really important for monitoring long term.
If your child is an athlete, Brulette says to gradually introduce heat before outdoor practice to allow the body to acclimate to it, and be mindful of equipment and clothing that they're wearing.
Not overdressing, light layers, light colors, things like that will be helpful.
Knowing signs of heat-related illnesses is also important. The most severe sickness from the sun is heat stroke. Symptoms include confusion, irrational behavior, drowsiness, nausea, vomiting, and a high temperature of 104 degrees and above. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
This season's The Voice fourth place contestant and Maple Valley local will be performing in Enumclaw. Lucia Flores-Wiseman will play a mix of originals and covers at the Chalet Theater. Doors open at 6:30 and tickets go for $20 online, $25 at the door, and $10 for students.